Good morning. In our previous class, we saw what is the force acting upon a straight current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. And we also saw if there are two wires carrying current and which are kept parallel to each other, what will be the force acting between them? We saw that if the currents are in the same direction, they will attract each other, and if the currents are in the opposite direction, they will repel. And today in this class, we are going to see what will happen if instead of a straight wire, we are keeping a coil of wire, whatever be the shape of the coil. It can be a rectangular coil or a circular coil. The result will be same. So we will see what happens if a coil of wire carrying current is placed in a magnetic field. If a coil of current carrying wire is placed in a magnetic field, it will rotate. What causes rotation? Torque. If a force acts on a body, it will move. That kind of motion is called translation. Now, if a torque acts on a body, it will rotate or it will turn. So, if you place a current carrying coil in a magnetic field, it will rotate, which means a torque will act on it. So, today what we are going to do is we will derive an expression for the torque acting on a current carrying coil placed in a magnetic field. So, let us see how it is done. So, let me share my screen with you. So today we are going to see what is the torque acting on a small coil kept in a magnetic field. Now this is a picture that shows there is a magnet here, N and S, north and south pole, which is part of a big magnet, and then there is a rectangular coil of wire carrying current I placed in this magnetic field. And you know that the direction of the magnetic field is always from north to south. So it is B, which is pointed from north to south in this direction. Now, when such a coil of wire is placed in a magnetic field, what happens? It will rotate. And when it rotates, there will be torque acting on this small coil in a magnetic field. So let us use the ideas we have learned earlier in this chapter to derive an expression for the torque. So here I have shown a rough figure of a rectangular coil of wire named as WXYZ. And from P, a current I flows through the coil. From P, it comes here and go in this direction. I is the current flowing through the coil. It travels from X to Y, Y to Z, Z to W, and maybe there are one or more coil of wire. So it will pass through these coils of wire and finally get down through Q. So a current is passing through this rectangular coil of wire. And this rectangular coil of wire having length L and width B is kept in a magnetic field B. You can see that the magnetic field B is in a direction which is the same as the plane of this coil. So the magnetic field B is in the plane of the coil. Now we will consider four arms of this rectangular coil. One arm is WX, another arm is XY, another one is YZ, and then we have ZW. So let us consider what are the forces acting upon the arms WX and ZY. So on arms W, X and ZY, we already learned in the last class that force is equal to ILB sine theta, where I is the current, L is the length of the conductor, B is the magnetic field, and theta is the angle between the length of the wire which is taken in the direction of flow of current and also the magnetic field. IL cross B. So which I have expressed here as I. Instead of length, we have here for arms WX and ZY. The length is B, the width of this rectangular coil. So IB, B sine theta, where theta is the angle between these arms and magnetic field B. Here for arm WX, the current is flowing in the same direction as the magnetic field. So what will be theta? Theta will be equal to 0 because the length of this arm, which is in the direction of the current, and the magnetic field both are in the same direction. So the angle between this arm WX and B will be equal to 0. Now let us consider YZ. Here current is flowing in the direction opposite to that of the magnetic field. So we have to take the length as opposite to that of the magnetic field. Then the angle between the length of the wire and magnetic field will be 180 degree because they are directed opposite to each other. So the angle between them is 180 degree. So if theta is equal to 0 or theta is equal to 180 degree, we know that sine theta will be equal to 0. Both sine 0 and sine 180 is 0. So this whole expression will become 0. So what is the force acting upon the arms WX and ZY? It is equal to 0 because here the wire carrying current and magnetic field are either in the same direction or opposite direction. In either case, the force is equal to 0. Or in both cases, the force is equal to 0. Now, let us consider the arms WZ, this arm, and also XY, this arm. So the force F is equal to ILB sine theta, where L is the length of this rectangular coil and theta, the angle between this length, arm, and also the magnetic field is equal to 90 degree. You can see here in both cases, the angle is 90 degree. The magnetic field is along the plane of the coil, and therefore for these two arms, the angle between the length and the magnetic field is 90 degree. What is sine 90? 1. So you will have the maximum force acting upon these two arms, which is ILB. So we got the magnitude of force acting on these two arms. Now let us find the direction of force. To find the direction of force, which law will we use? We will use Fleming's left hand rule. So I have to take my left hand again, and I have to keep my first finger in the direction of the magnetic field. So let me keep my first finger in the direction of B. Now, the second finger I have to keep in the direction of the current. So first of all, let me consider this arm WZ, where the current is upward. So I will have to hold my second finger upwards. Okay, so here, if I keep the magnetic field in this direction and also the second finger upwards, see, if you use your own left hand and try doing this, you will feel that your thumb is pointing into the screen. See, the thumb is pointing away from my face. I am facing the screen. So it means that my thumb is pointing into the screen. So if I keep my first finger in the direction of the magnetic field and second finger upwards, that is along the current in the arm ZW or WZ, whatever it is, along this arm, then what happens? The force is into the screen, facing away from my face, which means I'm facing the screen, so into the screen. So I have represented it with a cross. What does a cross mean? A cross means the force is directed into the screen. So on this arm, the force acting due to the magnetic field is into the current carrying coil, into the screen. Now here, let us consider the direction of the force on the other arm, that is XY. So again for that, I will have to take my left hand and let me hold my first finger in the direction of the magnetic field, and the second finger, in this case, I will have to keep it in the direction of current, which is downwards. So I will keep my second finger downwards. So where is my thumb pointing? See, the thumb is pointing towards my face. I'm facing the screen. So use your own left hand to find the direction of the force. The force is out of the screen. So I'm facing the screen now, and this thumb is facing towards my face, which means it is coming out of the screen. So I have shown that with a dot. A dot represents a vector which is coming out of the screen or out of the plane of the paper if you are viewing that on a paper. So here we got on these two arms of the rectangular coil, force acting on one side into the paper and on the other side out of the paper. Okay, and their magnitude is the same. It is ILB. What do you call two forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction? Here I have a duster with me. So let me assume that the coil of wire we are considering is wound over this duster. So I will have the arm WZ here and I will have XY here. Now for WZ, it is into the screen, and XY, it is out of the screen. So they are in opposite direction. So if force acts in that way, what happens? It will rotate. So this coil of wire will rotate. And you must have learned in grade 11, what do you call two equal and opposite forces acting on the same object separated by a small distance? You call it a couple. A couple produces rotation. Okay, so that is why a coil of wire, when it is placed in a magnetic field, the two arms will experience force in opposite direction, and therefore this coil of wire will rotate. Now when an object rotates, there will be a torque acting on it. The torque or moment of this couple, it's called a couple because there are two forces separated by a distance b acting on the same coil, and it creates rotation. So the torque or the moment of the couple is defined as force times perpendicular distance between the forces. Torque is represented by the letter tau. So this is read as tau. So tau is equal to force times perpendicular distance between the forces. What is the perpendicular distance between the forces? B, the width of the rectangular coil here. So let me substitute for force ILB, and the perpendicular distance between these two forces is this width B. So I got it ILB into B. So what is length into width of a rectangle, or length into breadth or length into width of a rectangle is the area of this rectangular coil. So I have expressed L into B as area. So I got the torque tau is equal to IAB. And we know that torque or tau is a vector quantity. It is not a scalar quantity. So here we have considered the magnitude of tau as equal to IAB. Now, if you want to represent this in the vector form, you can represent it as a vector product of one of these quantities, I or A, and B. B, the magnetic field, you know, it is a vector. I, the current, is it a vector? No, current is a scalar quantity. So we have no choice but to use the area as a vector. And I will explain further to you how we can consider area, which so far we have considered as a scalar quantity having only magnitude. Sometimes in physics, we consider area as a vector. We will discuss further about that. Before that, let me express the final expression of torque. Its vector expression, tau is equal to I into A cross B. Or you can represent it as IAB sine theta. So this is the torque acting upon a coil of wire kept in a magnetic field B, carrying a current I and having an area A. Now, this equation is valid whatever be the shape of the coil. For simplicity, we used a rectangular coil because the derivation is easy if we are using a rectangular coil. But this equation will hold good even if we use a circular coil or a coil in any other shape. But in that case, you will have to use the area of the circular coil or whatever shape the coil has. So you have to memorize this formula. The torque acting upon a small coil in a magnetic field, tau is equal to I into A cross B or IAB sine theta. Now let us further analyze how A, the area, can be considered as a vector. Now here we have derived this formula for one single coil of wire. Suppose there are n turns in the coil. Then just we have to multiply the torque with n to get the total torque for n turns of the coil. So the total torque for n turns of the coil will be n into I A cross B. So Ni A cross B, where A is a area vector. It will have the same magnitude as our usual area, that is length into breadth if it is a rectangle, and if it is a circular coil with radius r, you have to consider the area as pi r square. So the magnitude is the usual area magnitude. Now let us analyze how its direction will be. For area vector, we always take the direction of the area as perpendicular to the plane. For example, suppose I'm considering this plane and I'm considering the area of this plane as a vector. Then that vector will have a direction perpendicular to the plane. So if I'm considering this face of the duster as area, then its area vector will have a magnitude length into breadth and its direction will be outwards like this. So it will be perpendicular to the plane surface. Now if I am considering this area, then the direction of the area vector will be in this direction, perpendicular to it. Now suppose I am considering the upper surface here, then the area will have a magnitude of this thickness into breadth, but the direction will be upwards. So it will be always considered perpendicular to the plane of the surface. Now, in this particular case, let us consider how we can find the area. Here, see, there can be two perpendiculars, right? One can be pointing out of the screen and one can be into the screen. So how will we consider the direction. Here you have to use the right hand thumb rule. Now you have to take your right hand and curl the fingers in the direction of current. Then your thumb will point in the direction of the area. So let me take my right hand. You also can take your right hand and you can see a figure here, right? A small figure where the current is moving in the clockwise direction. So take your right hand and curl your fingers in the direction of current. So I'm curling the fingers in the direction of current. So my thumb is pointing into the screen because I'm facing the screen. So it's pointing into the screen. So if the current is clockwise, the area vector will be inwards, shown by a cross. We learned in the previous class, a cross shows something which is going into the paper or into the screen. Now here in the second figure, I have shown current in the anti-clockwise direction. Let us again take the right hand, take your right hand. Now curl the fingers in the direction of current. Here it is anti-clockwise. So what is the direction of the thumb? You can see that it will be coming out of the screen. I'm facing the screen, so it is coming towards my face, that is out of the screen. So if current is in anti-clockwise direction, the area vector is outwards. So sometimes in physics, we use area as a vector, and the area will always have its magnitude same as our usual area, and its direction will be perpendicular to the plane. Now, if there is a current carrying coil, we can always use our right hand to find the direction of the area. Curl your fingers in the direction of the current, and then the thumb of the right hand will give you the direction of area. So we have seen here that the torque on a small coil in a magnetic field is given by, if there are n turns, tau is equal to NIA cross B or NIAB sine theta, where A is also considered as a vector, the area vector, N is the number of turns, I is the current through the coil, and B is the magnetic field in which it is placed. Okay, now what is the practical application of this? Where can we see torque in a current magnetic field? So torque on a coil in a magnetic field can be seen in an electric motor. What is an electric motor? Any device that rotates in the presence of electricity can be considered as an electric motor. So here, this is a battery which is connected to brushes. And here you can see that there is a coil of wire, a rectangular coil of wire with some rings split in between, and they will touch these brushes as they rotate. Now, if they touch the brush, what happens? The current will flow through the wire, right? The current I flows through the wire. So it is kept in a magnetic field. So there is a couple, a pair of equal and opposite force acting on two opposite arms of this coil, and it will rotate. So as it rotates freely, the rotation will continue because each time this turn, it will touch the opposite brush. So the turning will continue. So this is the electric motor. Whatever we connect here will rotate. For example, our electric fan. It's nothing but an electric motor. It will contain inside that a magnet and a rotating part, which we call a rotor. So a rotor rotates when current passes through it, and which is connected to the fan. So the fan will rotate. So if we want any object, anything to rotate by the application of electric current, what we have is an electric motor, and the principle used here is the torque acting upon a coil placed in a magnetic field. Now here, I would also like to explain something more to you, because we consider the ideal case where the magnetic field B was along the plane of the coil. It will not always remain like this, because when it rotates, the plane of the coil will always make an angle. Here, the magnetic field is along the plane of the coil. Here, the coil have moved through 90 degree. So it is no more in the plane of the coil. It is perpendicular to a coil. And in between these two cases, there can be any situation as shown in this figure. Here is the direction of the magnetic field B, and here is a coil of wire, and the plane of the coil, which I have shown with these lines, is making an angle phi with the magnetic field. See, in such a case, the area vector, as I told you, is always perpendicular to the plane of the coil. So the angle between the plane of the coil and the area vector will be 90 degree. And the plane of the coil is making an angle phi with the magnetic field. So what will be the angle between the magnetic field and area, which we represent as theta? It will be equal to 90 minus phi. Why I want to clarify this here is, in most of the numerical problems, what will be given is not the angle between the magnetic field and the area vector. They usually give you the angle between the magnetic field and the plane of the rectangular coil or circular coil, whatever it is. So you have to identify that what they have given is not theta, that is phi, the angle between the magnetic field and the plane of the coil. So if it is phi, theta is equal to 90 minus phi. So let us apply that in the equation which we derive for the torque acting on the rectangular coil, which is NIAB sin theta. So instead of theta, I have put here 90 minus phi. What is sin 90 minus phi? It is cos phi. So you have to use tau is equal to NIAB cos phi. So in numerical problems, you have to read the question carefully and see what angle they have given. If they have directly given the angle between the magnetic field and the current, in that case, you can take it as theta. But if they have given you the angle between the magnetic field and the plane of the coil, you cannot take it as theta. You have to take it as phi, and either use theta is equal to 90 minus phi, or you can use tau is equal to NAB cos phi, cos of the angle given, not sine of the angle given. So note this point, it will be very helpful to solve numerical problems. So we have learned two equations for the torque acting on a coil placed in a magnetic field. One is NIAB sin theta, where theta is the angle between the magnetic field and the current, or the area vector, which is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Or we have learned another equation, NIAB cos phi, where phi is the angle between the plane of the coil and the magnetic field. Okay, now let us learn one more new quantity, which is called the magnetic moment of a current carrying coil. So the magnetic moment M of a current carrying coil is defined as the product of the current in the coil and the area vector of the coil. So if there are n turns of coil, the magnetic moment, which is represented by capital M, is equal to NIA. The magnetic moment M is a vector quantity. What is the direction of magnetic moment? Same as the direction of the area vector. So magnetic moment M is equal to NIA. You have to memorize this formula. And what will be the unit of the magnetic moment? You know that N, number of turns, doesn't have a particular unit. I, current, have an SI unit, ampere, and area have an SI unit, meter square. So the unit of magnetic moment will be ampere meter square. Okay, and the equation for magnetic moment is M is equal to NIA, where N is the number of turns in the coil, I is the current flowing through the coil, and A is the area of the coil. Now, in terms of the magnetic moment, we can say torque is equal to M cross B or MB sine theta, where we have used instead of NIAM. We learned in the previous slides that the torque acting toe is equal to NIA cross B. Here what we have done, NIA is the magnetic moment M. So toe is equal to M cross B. So let me just conclude what we learned today. We learned if we place a coil of wire carrying current in a magnetic field, then it will rotate. And the torque that causes rotation is given by the equation NIA cross B, where N is the number of turns in the coil, I is the current passing through the coil, A is the area of the coil, and it is considered as a vector, and B is the magnetic field in which the coil is kept. Now, this equation is valid whether the coil is rectangular, circular, or of any shape. The only thing is that you have to consider the area of that particular shape. And when we consider area as a vector, always consider its direction perpendicular to the plane of the area, and the magnitude will be same as the usual area. And if current is flowing through a coil of wire, we can always use our right hand thumb rule in order to find the direction of area. Curl your fingers in the direction of current, then the thumb will point in the direction of area. Now we saw that this concept of torque on a coil in a magnetic field is usually used in electric motor. Electric motor is any device that rotates in the presence of electric current and magnetic field. So all rotating objects by applying current are basically electrical motor. They will contain magnet inside that. And one example is our fan. Now we also considered the case where the magnetic field is not along the plane of the coil but making an angle phi with the coil. In that case, we learned that the torque can be obtained by the equation toe is equal to NIAB cos phi, not sine phi, cos phi. And this will help you in solving numerical problems. And we learned about a new physical quantity called magnetic moment, represented by the symbol capital M. It is a vector having the direction same as the direction of the area vector, and which is defined as a product of the current in the coil and the area vector, and its expression is M is equal to NIA. Now, in terms of the magnetic moment, we can represent torque is equal to M cross B. So that's all for this video. So I hope you have understood what is the torque acting upon a current carrying coil, and also what is magnetic moment. And the idea of area as a vector will come in physics in various situations. So it is better to know that idea. Okay, thank you.